And when we give an open forum, is there anyone wishing to address us in the body free?
Hey everybody! Hope y'all had a really restful break. Awesome. Just coming to you with a bit of information that I've said a few times. Declarations of intent are due this Friday at 5 p.m. I know it is almost here. I'm more excited than you, I promise. Please, please, please encourage your friends to run. If you are rerunning and you are in this room, some of you I know I don't have a declaration of intent for you, so please do not forget to submit your own. Also encourage people who, major candidates, that their campaign managers do also have to submit a declaration of intent. If I don't have by 5 p.m. on Friday, they won't be able to have a campaign manager. That's awesome. So Miss Auburn interviews are happening tomorrow and Wednesday. Call outs tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Taylor Lawn for the top 20. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
War Eagle, y'all. My name is Madison Riggins. I have not yet had the chance to come to the Senate meeting this year, but this is not my first Senate meeting ever. I just come to you today as the MPHC 2019 president. I am so excited to serve. Woo! Thank you. But as you can all see, the very last feature of business here is the MPHC Legacy Garden. Now, it's something that was started by my predecessor, Julius Hammond, and that's something that I would love to continue throughout my term. This is a really big project for us. I really would appreciate all of Student Senate support for it. I won't talk too much about it because, as you'll see from the resolution, we have a couple different groups on campus from a very wide variety who have already expressed their support for it. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to come and ask me. I may not be here right after Senate because I have to be somewhere by like 8:30, but feel free to get my number. If you don't have it personally, shoot me an email, or there's some people in this room who do have it. But thank you.
Is there anyone else? We'll go ahead and move to orders of business. But before that, everybody please click in on your iClicker. Technical time. Awesome. First order of business is the approval of the minutes. The minutes were sent out to you electronically a week and a half ago, probably. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes stand. We'll move into reports of officers, colleges, and standing committees, beginning with executive officers. Are there any reports?
Sorry. Not bad. So it's really good to see you guys. Before I go give you a couple updates, I just kind of piggyback off of what Madison said. That project with the Legacy Gardens is so cool and so unique. And I want to encourage you to think on how this is going to impact our recruitment efforts. This is giving an area on campus to the MPHC, the Divine Nine, and so giving them a space to call home and have a really cool, memorable area. It's going to be really cool moving forward. So I encourage you guys to just fully support that. Couple updates. So as you guys know, we've had a lot of discussion this year on our recruitment, enrollment, and rotation efforts here at Auburn, and kind of what we've done in the past, what we've not done so well, what we've done well on, and kind of what we need to do moving forward. So if you've seen, Auburn just announced a partnership with the Association of Public Land Grant Universities, and so we're kind of getting more information on that, and so I will report back to you on what more does that look like for us as a member of that. But again, this is like the partnership that our university needs to go forward and bring solutions to the table when it comes to demographics and financial need-based aid, merit-based aid, whatever it may be. So be excited about that. And then lastly, another big project we've been working on is a subsidized ride share program. So what we've seen at different universities that work is looking like subsidizing a partnership with Uber, with Lyft, another third party, so that your ride from point A to point B is discounted because you are a student at Auburn University. So again, we're just continually analyzing a couple of things. We're analyzing just what works, what the students want, what the students use the most. And so we're in the RFP process. So this is a request for proposal. So once we put this proposal out, companies will then bid on it. And just given how it's gone at other schools, we really think these companies are going to be excited. And so we're going to be able to leverage that excitement to solidify the best deal for the students moving forward. So I don't want to get you guys too excited, but this is something that's going to be huge moving forward. We're looking at next fall implementing the program. If all goes well, knock on some wood, somebody in here for me. But really be looking forward for that, and that'll be something that a lot of the young people will get to carry through next year. So thank y'all.
What's up, y'all? So ring night is Thursday at 6:56 in front of Langdon Hall. So our ring programming director has been working really hard, and it's gonna be a really cool event. It goes from 6:56 to 8:18, and Patrick's gonna tell you all a little bit more about that in a second. And then also I want to tell you all about finals week. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of finals week from 7 to 3. We're going to have a coffee and hot chocolate bar in Student Center and RBD. I will keep y'all updated on where specifically that will be, but Airmark has given us a budget for finals week, and we've chosen to spend it on coffee because that's what everybody is saying. So be looking out for that, and come to ring night on Thursday.
Question.
Yes.
Are there gonna be donuts?
Yeah, that's for up. We will still have donuts for up all night. Yeah. This is just during the day. So, good question. Anybody else? Yeah.
Jason almost stole my thunder once again. But anyway, I want to read y'all what the Auburn ring tradition is about. Of course, ring night is Thursday, 6:56, outside Langdon. And we also have the ring ceremony on Sunday. So at the end of the fall and spring semester, students who have completed over 75 hours have the opportunity. Hold on. Is anybody getting their ring? Man, the go. Okay. At the end of the fall and spring semester, students who have completed over 75 hours have the opportunity to be a part of a long-standing tradition that is unique to Auburn. At ring night, the rings are left on the Auburn seal from 1856 to 6:56 p.m. until the current graduation year. This symbolizes the rings absorbing all of Auburn's history from founding to present. This also means that the rings are placed under the curse of the seal. A few days later, at the ring ceremony, the students dip their rings in water from the president's fountain. If anybody y'all want to help go get that, just let me know. And that removes the curse, but leaves the Auburn spirit behind to live on in the ring and in the heart of its owner forevermore. Ring recipients conclude the traditional ceremony by placing the cleansed ring on their finger with the words Auburn University facing inward. After graduation, the new alumni turn the ring to show the world that they are a proud official member of the Auburn family. So I just would encourage y'all to be a part of that. We've got a lot of awesome things planned. Like Dixon said, this year we've had ring programming directors. That's a new position. We've never had that before, and so they really put a lot of effort into that. Spending a lot of time planning those fall and spring events. So I encourage y'all to support them in their mission and attend that event Thursday at 6:56. Thank you.
I got 3 things to put on your radar. First, we're having the second SGA Town Hall next Tuesday. It'll be on parking and transportation, so it'll be a good opportunity. We'll have administration officials, but also some city officials attending, so it should be a good opportunity to look at the big picture as well as address some small concerns regarding parking. Second thing is ASME will start when classes start next semester. ASME is a kind of a long-standing SGA tradition where we get out in bright yellow shirts and answer any questions the students may have. So it's a really good opportunity. There are 4 different stations, and so I'll send to Daniel the sign-up sheet tonight so that you can sign up for a shift near your constituents. And then the last thing is the Fall Feast, which took place last week. We had a really successful successful event. We got a lot of good feedback from it, and I just want to thank a few people. It took a village, and so Senator Hambrick and Senator Osment, wherever she is, gave up half their break to be at the event and support it, and so I really appreciate that. Senator Huntley spoke and did an excellent job representing SGA. I want to thank all of you again for funding that and moving it through BMI. So, thanks a lot.
We'll move into college reports, beginning with at-large.
At-large. I just wanted to give a quick update on the increase in scan slot machines. So we reached out to Brooks Jones and Cabinet and the contractor director of OIT. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll see it come into fruition as the year goes on.
Agriculture. Business.
I have a couple updates, mainly regarding some collaborations that we're doing that I'd love for y'all to be a part of too. So the college business is going to partner with our friends in Cabinet for the holiday lighting ceremony. That will be this Sunday. So just so you have the actual event on your radar. The holiday lighting ceremony has a family-friendly part from 4 to 5 next Sunday, or this Sunday afternoon, and then from 5 to 6 will be the program with the tree being lit around 6. So Mary Jane and Lily's been doing a great job doing that. But part of the event is collaborating with the city and Project Uplift to get a lot of toys for the Toys for Tots kids with Project Uplift. So we're going to have a graphic that I will make sure all of you get tomorrow. That I would love it if your school councils or whatever would just post. If anyone has some toys that they'd like to donate before the event, if they bring them to the student involvement suite, we will make sure that they get those. And then if you have a bin or something that you could put in your college, I think that would be a great way to go ahead and get the word out. There will also be a monetary way that you can donate to that through Venmo that Mary Jane will have the info on, and Jackie's going to make that graphic. So we'll make sure that's on there too. And then one other thing, Capital on the Plains is this Thursday at 5 o'clock in the Student Center Ballroom. That's going to be a really cool way. Just if you're interested in politics at all, I think it definitely will affect everyone. But I would love it if y'all could come and support our lobby board on that.
Cassie.
My constituents and I have been working on a CADSI newsletter. It's been our big project for the semester, so we're sending that out next week as she finished. We're just kind of doing some minor tweaks with our team and stuff. So yeah, just on the side.
Business. Education. Engineering.
Bailey Engineering. So we had our e-council meeting today, and I talked to the president. We're working with other e-council members basically making this guide for e-council, so the new people coming in kind of get a little packet thing, explaining their role and why support and what they can do. Also our L2 engineering team is working on getting nationally certified. They have to do 2 or 3 more extra events to actually get recognized, so they're doing that. Also our rocket team got all of their funding, so they're about to start building their actual product and videoing and all of it. Also we're starting an alumni mentorship program for certain students in engineering, and so they're working on applications. Basically to be a program where you kind of meet with a alumni that's graduated in the last 10 years, so that you have a more kind of a closer relationship, because they kind of understand what you're going through a little bit better, and kind of for an entire year you kind of talk with them and ask them for advice and that kind of system. And so we're trying to get that off the ground. I think applications are opening in January, and then it'll be a full year program kind of thing.
Forestry and Farmers. No report. Grad school.
Zinner, graduate school. So on Wednesday, the Graduate Student Council is going to have our monthly Senate meeting. So if there's anything at all that you want to let the graduate student senators, or really any graduate students as a whole know about, please let me know before then so that an announcement can be given. Now, an additional thing that I think all of us should know about as student leaders, applies to everybody, not just graduate students, is before the Thanksgiving break, the Department of Education came out with some potential new guidelines on Title IX. Title IX, for those of you who may not know, is the federal law that prohibits sex discrimination in education. Courts have also determined that this includes sexual harassment, sexual assaults, etc. I'm sure many of you have heard of it before, but there are some new guidelines potentially coming out that will change how these processes work at universities, including Auburn University. I'd encourage every one of you, especially as student leaders, to at least take a glance at what these are. And pretty will be a period opening up of 60 days for comments to the Department of Education. If you feel so inclined, please submit something, no matter your opinions, because we live in a democracy. They should be hearing from us on issues that impact us.
Huntley Human Sciences. So tonight we had our last meeting for the College of Human Sciences Ambassadors. Basically just wrapping up everything that we've done over the semester, like reviewing the events that we've had, and talking about some different things that we're going to change going into the semester. So really proud of the progress that they've made and look forward to all the things that we've accomplished this semester.
Liberal arts.
Davis, Liberal Arts. So the Liberal Arts School Council met today. We have one more meeting next Monday. We're currently in the planning phases for a Open Issues Forum coming next January. We're discussing what that'll look like, things that we'll talk about, things we want to hear feedback from students on, going on within the college, as well as just any other general issues and concerns students have. So be looking for something like that. We'll be doing hopefully some organization visits to try and find liberal arts students to definitely come and share their opinion and their voice on that. So that'll be sometime in early January.
Nursing. No report. Pharmacy. Moving into committees, beginning with the executive.
Calhoun business. All right, so after this week, we only have one more Senate. So that's exciting. So you only have to listen to me one more time do this announcement. So I'm here. That's my Christmas gift to everybody. So you're welcome. Earlier on. Also, let's see. It is the end of the semester. I do realize that finals are coming up, but with the next 2 weeks, continue to look over the future orders, especially the future orders for this week. We really need everybody to sort of reach out to their constituents, make sure that all those that everybody's really well versed on that before we vote on all those future orders next week. So really do try and reach out to constituents and have some meetings about that. We also have 2 more exec meetings. So if you have not come to exec this semester, it's game time. You guys show up. So I would highly encourage you to do that tomorrow or next Tuesday. And yeah, so do your office hours, and that's all I have for today.
Academic affairs.
Engineering. Not too much for me. I think it kind of got mentioned earlier, but Up All Night's coming up, so I encourage all y'all to sign up if you have time during final week. And then also, like Daniel said, please look over the academic honesty stuff that's coming through as a future order today. Max worked very hard on that. And reach out to your constituents, make sure they're informed on like what's getting changed. That's all I got.
Budget and finance.
Lead engineering. I just want to reiterate what Dixon and Patrick kind of said. Ring night this Thursday at 6:56 in front of Langdon. It's a great opportunity to bring in money outside of student finance, which is great for the Budget and Finance Committee. Also, the Budget and Finance Committee is having a Christmas party next Tuesday, December 4th. I just want to encourage all the other committees to do something fun there. It's a great opportunity to have some fun. Thank you.
Zinner, graduate school. So one thing I've been doing most recently over the break is looking at how to better define our auxiliary groups, things like OBBY, things like lobby board, which we heard about earlier. And I want to give a bit of a shout out to the directors of OBBY and the directors of Freshman Forum for getting back to me, getting some feedback there, because I really appreciate that. It's going to make our code of laws that much clearer. It's going to make it much clearer to how these different boards are in their relationship to SGA. It's going to be great going forward. Now, another thing, I was actually looking back at the calendar that I set up for my committee. It was very ambitious, amending the code, pretty much the entire code this semester, and I'm proud to say thank you to Senators Albright and Senator Ward. We've got just about everything done with the code. I am very proud of all of us here and everybody here for putting up with our voting. We still have code bills. Don't worry, there's still a few stragglers that are going to be coming through in January, most notably the SAPs and finance law, but we are going to get everything from every chapter of this code, and I am very excited about that. So finally, as was alluded to earlier, one future order tonight on the Academic Honesty Committee, or the entire academic honesty process. That's probably one of the most significant bills we're going to be passing all semester. So I really encourage you to pay attention to that one and speak to your constituents over the coming week. I really hope we have some good discussion about that in the next week and next week before we pass it. Thank you.
Inclusion University.
Huntley Human Sciences. So we didn't have a regular meeting tonight. We had to reschedule
student involvement suite. Also, I've talked a lot about this, so our cultural competency survey should be going live this week. So that's a huge deal. It's going to be distributed out to students through the Office of Institutional Research. So we're really excited about all the feedback that we're going to get from that survey and see how we can apply this on the university. Also, the presentation that was supposed to be this week will now be postponed to next week, since we have our meeting tonight. So y'all can look forward to that next Monday. And also just a thank you to everybody who came out to fall feast. I know Senator Holland was there, as well as Senator Zenner, as well as the aforementioned people. So thank you to all of you who came and helped. Thank you to all of you who came and showed up. We just thought the opportunity to talk to constituents you wouldn't normally get to talk to. I believe we had over 200 people there. Jordan's left, but it was over 200. Over 300. 200 what?
Just 350 with guests.
350 with guests. So we had an incredible turnout. It was a huge success. So thank you to everybody who was a small or large part in making that happen. Also, we have a very important piece of legislation coming through tonight that came from my committee. Madison already kind of alluded to it, like the UPHC Legacy Plaza. So that's going to be coming through as a future order. And I look forward to talking about that more.
Student affairs.
Cheater at large. Again, want to give a big push for that parking open forum next week. So it's on Tuesday, December 4th at 6 p.m. in this room, I believe what we said. That will definitely help have, it would help to have a big student turnout with all the changes coming to parking and transportation, and also help student affairs with the parking resolution.
And that is it for our standing reports. We're moving to reports of special committees and liaisons, beginning with BSU.
Bradshaw BSU, I just want to let you guys know that BSU and SGA will be hosting a joint meeting with Give Back and Break. It will be on January 14th, and it will be discussing inclusion and diversity and Auburn's climate. So please come out to support.
Thank you. Student loans.
Jackson SBA. And so just want to go ahead and put out my sincere thanks for all the support that we got for this whole thing. It was a huge success to watch that y'all want to talk about. It went really great. We got a whole lot of news coverage, and I just want to thank y'all for donating and supporting. It's awesome. Thank you.
Orange Congress.
Patel, Honors Congress. So this next week we're going to be holding an appreciation week for all of our Honors College professors. So we're going to be doing different things, and it's going to be culminating in a dinner on Thursday night in the Eagles Nest. But just for any of y'all in the Honors College or to any of your constituents, just shoot your professors emails. I mean, they don't even have to be in Honors College. Just show thanks for all that they do throughout the semester.
Housing.
Thompson Housing. So our applications went out, I think, last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. If any of y'all know anybody who's interested, or any of y'all are interested, it's a great job, pays for your housing, gives you a lot of wonderful opportunities to make a difference in people's lives. So just, if y'all know anyone who's interested, we're looking for really good recruits.
Freshmen.
No report.
That's it for reports, so we'll go ahead and move into current orders of business, and Maggie will call the first one.
PSSB 18112601, Title 11, additional boards and committees.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Zenner.
Center Graduate School. So as a reminder for everybody, I know we had a nice Thanksgiving break between when this was presented and the future order. This is just a rewrite of Title 11 on additional boards and committees, as the title suggests. Most of it is clarification, fixing things up, combining chapter 1100 and 1101. There's a lot of numbering changes, and when it talks about the ticketing appeals, it's making that a little bit broader so that we don't have a cabinet position mentioned here that's mentioned nowhere else in the code. It's just kind of random, just to keep things clean. So that was the main purpose behind this bill. I moved to pass it as written.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye and click A.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, and this bill is adopted. That's it for current orders this evening, so we'll move along to future orders.
PSSB 18120301, Title 1, format for proposed laws.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Zenner.
Zenner Graduate School. So, as you all know, I've been amending just about every title of the code, and one issue is the format, which is the very first title. If you go down a little bit, we already have, we don't really need it. It also, it mentions there's 15 titles. We added a 16th title, if you may recall, this semester, a little earlier this term. That was the anti-discrimination policy. So this needed to be cleaned up. This big block, we really don't need it. So you can go up a little bit, and still instead of just having it, we just show, for example, this is how we're writing it. Title 1, in chapters 100 to 199, and that's throughout. So this will not need to be amended if titles are reorganized in the future. As we go further down, this is thing I'm pretty excited about. Editing the code, we do need a fairly standard style for the code. One of the things that came to me, in particular shout out to Senator Huntley about this, was gender neutral language. That's been brought to my attention by a number of people throughout the term, but it was Senator Huntley that brought to my attention that, well, why don't we put this in, standardize it in school council constitutions, and which we have a bill coming up in just a moment, but also just let's put this in the code. That's the standard. This is what we've been doing all year, setting a standard for the code of laws for years to come. Other things mentioning, let's avoid acronyms and abbreviations. I tried to cut out some of those earlier, but sometimes we need them. SGA for Student Government Association, I think that's okay. We use both a lot in the code. If there's anything else that's super, super important, we can add it to this section later. I know after the SAP rewrite, we may want to put SAP up in here. I don't want to define it just yet because that could be changing. You will see in January. Other couple little things. Avoid parentheses. If you're amending the code, there were previously many sections like this. It was very messy. That's what we have these subdivisions for. Instead, create like 101.3.1 rather than just put something in parentheses. And finally, just how we write our numbers, because this is the style for most of the code, but there's a lot of bits and pieces here and there that aren't. So this is just trying to standardize some of the most common format components to the code. So I look forward to discussing this over the coming week.
PSSB 18120302, Schools Council, Chapter 600.1.
I'm Lincoln Thompson. So me and Max kind of collabed on this. When somebody reached out to me about evaluating schools council constitution and making them more inclusive to all students. So one thing that I noticed in a particular schools council constitution that I really liked was the addition of a non-discrimination statement. So what we've done is we've kind of created things that must be included in our schools council constitution. The first two sections are already there, just new. And then the new one, 600.12.3, that's going to be in congruence with chapter 100, which if it's passed next week, they'll follow that format. And then 600.12.4 is basically the non-discrimination statement in congruence with what we passed with what he talked about earlier with Title 16. So basically they have their own like curriculum on how they make this anti-discrimination statement. It's just going to follow Title 16. That's about it.
Look forward to discussing.
PSSB 18120303, Title 12, Student Academic Honesty Code.
Okay, this is the big one that I was talking about. Probably one of the most significant bills that we're going to be passing. So I want to start by just going through a bit of the process of writing this. So what I started with was the old academic honesty code. Of course, I had to read through it a number of times before doing anything because I fully understand it. I moved around a lot of stuff. If you look, I hope you have had a chance to glance through it, but if not, please definitely do so throughout the next week before we vote. You'll notice we have cut it down we cut out 2 chapters. We have combined a lot of them and just moved items about within these chapters, trying to eliminate unnecessary repetition. And there was a number of things that could potentially contradict. Well, I got some clarification. I met with Dr. Whitten in the provost's office and many others, just to make sure that, okay, this is how things have been done. Are these good changes? Yes, I have your approval from all of them. This is not some crazy out there proposal. This is fairly solid according to everything I've heard from them. So this rewrite is going to be for clarification purposes primarily, but not entirely. There are also a number of substantial changes. I guess going on to those, one of my favorites personally is students, they would bring an advisor with them to speak with them, to help them through the process. This is something the committee has generally permitted. It's something that the Code of Student Conduct allows, but up until now, it was never explicitly defined in the Academic Honesty Code. Well, after consulting with a number of officials, we thought this is a reasonable thing to put in there. Just to clarify, this is one of the rights you have. Yes, you can have an advisor present. This advisor is not representation. They're just speaking to you, advising you, helping you go through the process. You're still having to present your own case. They're not your lawyer. Though you could have a lawyer as an advisor. Now, another thing we did outside of 1203 was clarify the time frame. Now, a lot of this, as you'll notice, mentioned is right here. All throughout, it says you have 5 working days after notification of violation. So, in many places, it already said that. But there were a couple points where it said just a reasonable amount of time. Well, what's a reasonable amount of time to contact somebody? We got some clarification, and so we settled on getting a specific number. So any time limit is clearly defined in this new version of the code. Looking at sanctions, we want to go up. I believe it's 1202. Yes, 1202. We added a possible sanction of requiring a course in academic honesty. That's 1202.1.1. Very basic. This is something that they'd already been asking students to do, which I think makes a lot of sense. If somebody is brought up on honesty charges, especially if it's a fairly minor student mistake, I mean, yes, it still goes on your record. Yes, there's still, I would think, should be something a little bit more serious as well. But especially if it's a mistake, they can learn and go through, I believe it's the Canvas module on academic honesty. So that we're now putting that in the sanctions to make it very clear. This is something the committee can require you to do. Well, more accurately, the committee can recommend the provost require you to do. So that is one addition to that. We also clarified the sanction of suspension. Go down a little bit. Suspension explicitly here refers to suspension as defined in the student code of conduct. Now, part of this is for clarification, keeping definitions all in one place. But functionally, this ensures that, or this is a bit of a change in how we treat suspension. Previously, suspension in the honesty code said you couldn't take classes outside of Auburn during the period of suspension and having transferred here. That is changed because what the student code of conduct says. Again, we have to rely on one definition for suspension. The university actually has 2, and that's actually something they're talking about in the provost's office. The other one is purely about having a low GPA. If you're on academic warning, then you can go on academic probation, then you can go on academic suspension. But this is phase 1 standard conduct suspension, so keeping that all unified. We've also removed the requirement of suspension for repeat offenders. Now, the idea here is giving the honesty committee a little bit more discretion. Now, I don't think they're going to go super soft on people all of a sudden with this. I've been on that committee myself. I've seen how this goes. I know a number of you have as well. And we also emphasize in this section that it goes slightly down, I believe. When the committee is determining sanctions, 1202.2, any prior record of academic dishonesty must be considered by the committee when determining sanctions. So just because, they don't have to give you suspension for a second or third or fourth offense, hopefully not getting that many offenses, hopefully if you get one, it's just one. They can do that and they can consider that. You're not getting it as if you're a new offender each time. Finally, we also rewrote and consolidated the definitions of the violations to go up a little bit. Now, these didn't really change, but I just feel like it's worth mentioning because this is one of the most important parts of the code. 1201, how we define things like plagiarism, using much more standard language, a little bit more formal, and hitting the format of the rest of the code of laws. That was a big thing throughout this entire piece of legislation. Now, finally, near the bottom of the procedure section, it talks about appeals. Now, previously, it just said you could make an appeal. It didn't really go into how or why. That's a new section that I've added. It's based on appeals for the student code of conduct. So, under this change, appeals, if this passes, can only be considered if new evidence becomes available. Procedures were not followed for the academic honesty process, like you didn't have a proper committee hearing or something like that, or a proposed sanction is seen as disproportionate for the violation committed. So, I'm just clarifying, this is when if you're on the committee to look at the procedure and just find, okay, this is the section that I need, and go through it. So that's part of the goal. And finally, one thing in this rewrite, I managed to cut out about 500 to 600 words. So I think it was a little over 10% of the words in this entire thing without changing the substance. So I'm very happy with cleaning up the code in that fashion. I also cut out a lot of very big paragraphs. There's still some decent sized ones like 1201.1.2, but that's about as big as they get. If you've read it previously, as I know some of my committee have, there's some really big paragraphs in there. It's kind of a pain to read and more of a pain to cite to mention just one specific section. So that was the goal with this, to clarify the honesty policy, to update it. There was some very outdated language. It mentioned using a tape recorder at one point. While we do definitely want to record our hearings for records in the provost's office, we don't necessarily use tape recorders these days very much. So we took that out. General updates, clarification, and making sure we have the best process for academic honesty possible, and ensuring that student rights are respected throughout the entire process. So I look forward to discussing this with any of you. Do any of you have any questions now, or throughout the week, or next week before we vote? Because this is, like I said, a really important piece of legislation. I really hope everybody takes the time to seriously consider it before voting. Talk about it with our constituents. Thank you.
ESSR 18.203031, student senate support for MPHC Legacy Plaza.
This resolution is brought to you by Senator Huntley and Senator Carroll.
Huntley, business offices.
Carroll business.
Alright, guys, so kind of what Madison talked about, what Dane talked about. So this is that resolution showing student senate support for the MPHC Legacy Plaza. So if you're not familiar with these are on college campuses all across the country to recognize the significance of divine organizations. We're formerly known as National Independent Council organizations. So these are historically black, Greek letter sororities and fraternities. There's 9 of them historically. And so we're trying to get one of these clauses here at Auburn University, and that's an initiative that's been pushed by MPHC. So Julia Sandin, the former MPHC president, approached us about writing this bill, me being Iron Man, him being Student Affairs, when we wrote it. And so now y'all can read it. So basically, recognizing these council organizations focus on campus. There's only one other school in the SEC, that's going to be Ole Miss, that actually has a closet like this. So we would be the second one in the SEC to actually have something like this on campus, which is pretty exciting. And like Madison said, we already have a lot of different organizations on campus that are in support of this project. So we would be adding initiatives into the list, and I think it would be pretty cool. So y'all can read it, look at it, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask me or Matthew. Anything else?
Just kind of to echo that, I mean, Senator Huntley pretty much said everything there is to say about it, but I think this is something that we should absolutely consider and hopefully pass as the Student Government Association. And just so you know, this would be CC to President Lee's desk is where it would kind of be headed towards. And so she really said everything that there is to say about it, but I think this would be a great culture change for Auburn and something that is definitely needed, as we would be one of the trailblazers in the SEC to do this.
Anybody have any questions for me? Alright, thanks guys, look forward to discussing next week.
And that is it for our orders of business this evening. We'll move into announcements before we wrap up tonight. So just a couple of things. We talked about a lot of events that are coming up. Please just be sure to have those on your calendar. Love to see a large presence out there. Just a reminder of what some of those are. Ring night is this Thursday at 6:56 outside of Langdon. Ring ceremony is then on Sunday at 2. Capitol on the Plains is at 5 in the ballroom this Thursday. And then holiday lighting ceremony is on Sunday starting at 4. Town hall's next week, and there's just, it's a busy time of the year. So I hope y'all are using those planners. I know school's getting busy, so please take care of yourself also in the midst of all of this. Do have a fun thing coming for y'all next week, so we'll be doing holiday dinner before Senate over at Ham Wilson, kind of the Red Barn. We won't feel associated with the Red Barn, but it's Ham Wilson. So wear your Christmas sweaters, and we'll be over there at 6 during the time when cabinet is normally happening. and then we'll come back over here for Senate. And so really want to encourage all of y'all to come out. I've heard the menu's supposed to be good. And then, what was the other thing? Just reiterating what Bree said, campaign registration forms are due on AU Evolve. You know, I think this body specifically is such a unique part of Auburn and of SGA, of the student body, and so I would really love to see every seat contested, and somebody running in every seat. So I really want to encourage y'all that if you aren't running again, or if you are running again, to please continue to reach out to people in your college or school, and just really encourage them to come check out Senate, to talk to somebody that has been involved with it, and to really look at serving Auburn in this way over the next year. But that's it for me.
Awesome. I just want to reiterate quickly what Max was saying about the Student Academic Honesty Code. We're in a very unique situation where that's something that comes through the SGA Code of Laws. So please spend this week reading through what it is, what it's proposing, and as also what it was, so you know the changes were, and also getting feedback from your constituents. So really come informed next week, so we can have a great conversation regarding that bill. And just as Skylar shared, a lot of exciting events which are coming up. We also had a very exciting event which happened last week for SGA, which is our advisor Brad, who's not here, got engaged. So make sure you check it out.
Is this anybody's also? It was left last week. It is. Come claim it. I don't know what we're going to do with it if nobody does. Are there any other announcements this evening? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into the roll call. Please click A so we can stay. If there's no other business, this meeting's adjourned. Bailey, I'm so sorry. I looked over here. I looked over. I was like,
For next semester.